Bonjour, c'est madame. OK, alors, vous avez demandé et voilà, on va faire un projet au lieu d'un examen pour le semestre. Oui. So we are going to do a project, an end of the semester project instead of an end of the semester exam. Oui. OK. Alors, donc, votre projet, and oh, by the way, I made this video because I want you guys to have as much time as needed in class to work. So that means that I'm making this video. So you can watch this at home and you don't have to do it in class. Oui, voilà. Or I don't have to explain all this in class. Bien sûr. Okay, on y va. Here we go. Mon chapitre de Le Petit Nicolas. Oui, objectif pour le projet. Écrivez votre propre chapitre de Le Petit Nicolas afin de montrer votre compréhension du vocabulaire, votre connaissance du conditionnel, du passé composé et de l'imparfait. So, your objective, you are writing your own chapter of Le Petit Nicolas in order to show your comprehension of vocabulary, your knowledge of the conditional, of passé composé, and of imparfait verb tenses. Okay. Votre chapitre doit, your chapter must, contenir 400 à 600 mots si vous travaillez avec un partenaire ou 300 à 500 mots si vous travaillez individuellement. So it has to contain 400 to 600 words if you are working with a partner, or 300 to 500 words if you are working individually. Votre chapitre doit être dans le style de Le Petit Nicolas. So your chapter must be written in the style of the book Le Petit Nicolas, right? So what does that mean? That means Nicolas est le narrateur qui raconte l'histoire. Nicolas is the narrator who is telling the story. On écrit en première personne. You're writing it in first person, obviously. Il y a quelque chose de drôle ou ironique qui se passe à la fin du chapitre. There is something funny or ironic that happens at the end of the chapter, right? So every chapter that we've read, there's always something funny or ironic that happens. Remember the very first chapter we read with the class photo? Here's the photographer. He thinks he knows everything. He thinks he can get children to behave and all this. And then there's this whole rigmarole of getting crates to stand on and kids getting dirty and kids dressed like Martians and kids fighting each other and all this. And finally, the teacher, la maîtresse, gets them all in order and all ready to take the picture. And then they look and who's gone? The photographer, he left, right? Or in the store, the chapter with Rex, right? Nicolas brings home this little dog and the whole time, Maman does not want the dog. And then finally, at the end of the story, the owner of the dog shows up and to take the dog. And who is the most sad? Maman. Oui. Okay, d'accord. And lastly, c'est une histoire qui s'est déjà passée. It's a story which has already happened, okay? So that means you're writing in the past tense, like imparfait, passé composé, okay? Now, does that mean that every single verb in your story is going to be in either imparfait or passé composé? No, of course not. Especially when it comes to dialogue. Most dialogue is usually in present tense, right? Okay. But you're telling a story that's already happened, right? Okay. Votre chapitre doit contenir quelques personnages du livre Le Petit Nicolas. So your chapter must contain characters from the book Le Petit Nicolas. You may add one or two new characters, just one or two, if you need to. But for the most part, you should be using all the same characters from Le Petit Nicolas and their personalities, of course, right? Votre chapitre doit utiliser au minimum 15 mots de vocabulaire de Le Petit Nicolas si vous travaillez avec un partenaire, ou 12 mots de vocabulaire si vous travaillez individuellement. So your chapter must use at least 15 vocab words from Le Petit Nicolas if you're working with a partner, or 12 if you're working individually. So I already have written up, and I will have it for you in class tomorrow, a paper with all the vocab that we've done so far this semester with Petit Nicolas. It's all divided into nouns and verbs and adjectives and all that. And so you need to incorporate 15 or 12 of those vocab words into your story. Votre chapitre doit contenir au minimum 5 verbes au conditionnel si vous travaillez avec un partenaire, ou 4 verbes au conditionnel si vous travaillez individuellement. So your chapter must contain at least 5 verbs in the conditional tense if you're working with a partner, or 4 verbs in conditional tense if you're working individually. Votre chapitre doit être écrit par main au bon papier. It must be written by hand on nice paper, which I will have for you guys. I have nice plain white paper that I'll give you in class that you can use. Votre chapitre doit contenir au minimum 6 dessins colorés si vous travaillez avec un partenaire, ou 4 dessins colorés si vous travaillez individuellement, qui montrent ce qui se passe dans l'histoire. So your chapter must contain at least 6 color drawings if you're working with a partner, or 4 color drawings if you're working individually. And these drawings need to show what's happening in the story, okay? Think of it like almost like maybe like a comic strip type thing, right? Shows each thing that's going on. Et enfin, votre chapitre doit avoir une feuille de titre avec un dessin. So your chapter must also have a title page with a drawing on it, okay? So technically that means you're actually going to wind up having at least 7 or 5 drawings total, okay? D'accord. Okay, d'autres choses. Il faut que, it's necessary that, vous partagez le travail de l'écriture et de dessin si vous travaillez avec un partenaire. Chaque personne doit écrire et chaque personne doit dessiner. So it is necessary that you share the work of both writing and drawing if you are working with a partner. That means each person needs to write and each person needs to draw. You may absolutely not split it up by just saying, okay, one person, I'm going to do all the writing, you do all the drawing. And no, absolutely not. Okay. This is for everyone to practice writing. Now, can you work together and help each other? Yes, of course. But I want to see, even when you turn in your final chapter, I want to see 2 different types of handwritings on there. Okay. And I want to see 2 different, like, I guess you would say styles of drawing, maybe. Kind of. That one I'm a little about. But the 2 styles of handwriting, yeah. Gotta see that. Okay. OK. Aussi, il faut que vous écriviez le chapitre complètement en classe. Vous n'avez pas le droit d'écrire à la maison et puis apporter ce travail en classe. So it is necessary that you write this chapter completely in class. Okay. You are not working on it at home on writing, the writing portion. You are not doing that in any way, shape, or form. You do not have the right to write anything at home, be it in French or in English, and then bring it into class, okay? That will get you big time points off, okay? I want this all done complètement en classe. D'accord? D'accord. Okay, d'autres infos. Other info. Évidemment, clearly, if you hadn't figured it out by now, vous travaillez tout seul ou avec un partenaire. You're working by yourself or with one partenaire. No groups of 3, do not ask. Vous pouvez travailler les dessins à la maison. You may work on drawings at home, okay? Now, let's imagine that I have this beautiful piece of paper here. Ooh, maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Voila. I have this piece of paper here. And down here, and my story is all written here. And then down here, there's this blank spot. And I'm like, oh, madame, can I take this home to draw on it? No. The answer is no. No. What do? You take a normal white sheet of paper home. You draw on it. You make your drawing. You bring it to school. You cut it out. And you paste it on there. Okay? D'accord. So you may work at drawings at home. And other things to know, d'autres infos, si vous rendez votre projet en retard, vous perdez 10% par jour qu'il est en retard. If you turn in your project late, you lose 10% per day that it is late. okay? And that is, oh yeah, sorry, what was it? Bleh. J'ai perdu ma tête. Ah, lost my train of thought. Don't get old. This is what happens when you get old. Anywho, so that means if you, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Hold on. Let's talk about some important dates first. And then I'll talk about more about it being late. So, quelques dates importantes. Mercredi le 6 décembre à vendredi le 15 décembre. Travailler en classe. You're working in class. Okay. I will be available, of course, all the time to help answer any questions, whatever you need. I am there in class. Oui. And then when it's due, mercredi le 20 décembre à 13h15. So that's Wednesday, December 20th at 1:15 p.m. Me, okay. So that being said, let's imagine you come and you turn in your project to me on Wednesday, December 20th at 1,400 hours. That's 10% off. Okay. Anything from 13/16 on December 20th until 13/15 on the 21st, that's 10% off. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Et enfin, lastly, si vous avez besoin de plus de temps pour travailler votre projet, vous pouvez venir chez Madame et travailler. If you need more time to work in class on your project, you may come to my classroom and work the following times. Tous les jours, 7h30 à 8h15 et 15h15 à 15h45. So any day before school from 7:30 to 8:15 a.m. or after school from 3:15 to 3:45 p.m. Tous les jours pendant votre study hall. Any day, if you have a study hall, you want to leave your study hall and come up to my classroom, just let me know. I will gladly write you a pass to give to your study hall teacher. Pendant le déjeuner, sauf le 7 et le 11 décembre. Any day during lunch, except for December 7th, I have a department chair meeting that day, or December 11th, that is Bouche de Noël day. So I'll be busy during lunch on those days. And then lastly, pendant les jours des examens, anytime during exam week, from 8h à 15h15, you may come in and work. Okay, d'accord. So tomorrow en classe, you will get a hard copy of this sheet. You will also get a hard copy of the vocabulaire, oui, and hard copy of the rubrics as well. I am so excited for these chapters. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'm sure they're going to be really fun and cute and funny. Wait, okay. Merci.